Yeah, I'm talking to John VanDenburgh, a Verizon worker with CWA 1118. John, can you tell us what you do for Verizon?
Albany, New York, garage, and I go out and I work in the outside infrastructure.
On wires?
Yep.
Wiring?
On their plant, whether it's fiber optic or copper cabling.
And why are you guys on strike?
Well,
briefly.
We're on strike, there's a multitude of issues, but we're on strike right now. One of our big issues is job security. The company is looking to outsource a lot of our inside jobs. They call it flip the switch. They want to take a lot of the union jobs in New York State and move them throughout the country, and then also a lot of our jobs are being outsourced overseas. Some of our call centers are now being answered in India and in the Middle Eastern countries.
What other issues are involved in this strike besides the outsourcing? As I understand it, they're trying to take away benefits and wages and everything else. Is that correct?
Yep, they're trying to freeze our pension. That's probably the second biggest one. They don't want us to have a pension fund anymore. They want us to only have a 401k option. And we've seen how that worked in the past with companies like Enron, and where these workers in America worked their whole entire career to find out that they didn't have any pension left. So the pension that we have now, it's not a very good pension. I mean, right now a 30-year pension, an annuity is paying about probably about 31% of your final year's salary. So it's not like our pension is something that is drastically overvalued. And to take it a step further, the pension fund that Verizon controls is self-sufficient. There's such a block of money sitting in that fund that they haven't had to invest in it in over 20-some years. It just is self-sufficient. It earns the interest, which funds the pension fund. So really, from an economic standpoint, it's really no difference to the company. It's just a union busting tactic. So the pension fund is something that they want to take and associate with like 15 years. Pension eligibility and freeze that, and then we would not accrue any more pension benefits from that point forward.
Would this affect new hires, or are they trying to get rid of pensions entirely for new hires?
Yes, and anybody hired off the street, anybody post this contract would basically be coming into a company with no pension fund whatsoever.
Do older workers, you think, understand the danger of that in terms of having a younger workforce with no interest in the pension once you're retired?
They do. Obviously, a lot of the pension that we've been able to secure for our workers that have retired is entirely based on that there was a wave of hiring after they were employed, and for us to get pensions, we need good jobs to stay in this country. We need people employed. So the older generations and the ones that do progress through the seniority can at that time have the right to and be eligible to retire.
Are there any other major issues that you would want to mention in terms of what's going on?
There are many major issues. A lot of them have to do with our wages and when we start accruing overtime. A lot of it has to do with the ability for them to relocate their workforce. They want to be able to say, and right now we have a 35-mile clause in the contract that workers are not forced to drive over 35 miles to get to the reporting location without actually being considered for relocating expenses. Now they want to make that 100 miles. So, and it's not 100 miles from your home; it would be 100 miles from your reporting location. So many people live in a community and they drive 15 miles to their job, and now they want to tack another 100 onto that, and they want to basically have the ability to move their workforce throughout their footprints without compensating us for it.
How do Verizon workers feel about this, given the fact that Verizon is extremely profitable and particularly its wireless division is doing very well? Could you comment on that?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest sense of our frustration, is that Verizon as a corporation profited nearly $3 billion last year, and it's not a company that has an economic constraint. We're not a public union that is fighting for wages and benefits with cities and municipalities that are financially strapped. I mean, our company is viable. They're viable because of us. the money that they've been able to invest in their wireless division has been given to them by our members in the wire side of the industry, and they're basically growing the company and differentiating their products and exclusively trying to do that without the union involved in those other industries.
And finally, what would you have to say to members of other unions and workers in general about what's going on here?
I would say simply that the agenda has been out there in the media. They're holding the information, they're bending it to their advantages, and we're seeing not even the middle class anymore. We're seeing the working class being squeezed. We're seeing the largest separation and the largest disparity in wealth that we've ever seen in the history of this country. And the only way that we can combat that is by organizing and by fighting for good jobs and good benefits in this country.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.